Okay, first we're going to log on to FirstNet. FirstNet is the ER application. I'm doing this from a home computer, so you won't normally have to click on this down here. Taking a little longer than normal. Okay. Looks like it brought it up twice, so I'm going to X out of one. So here is the tracking board. You can see there's multiple ways to sort the patients. Right now this is just kind of a shot of everyone who's in the ER. To sort the view, you're going to go to this filter and choose between any of these. The most common are clicking none, and that'll show you everything in the ER. I'm going to scoot this over just to bring the vital signs in. So none shows you everything in the ER. You've got your bed, patient's name, their age, their chief complaint. Then you're going to see a bunch of tabs that we'll go over later, but basically their labs and x-rays are the main thing you need, or labs and radiology. Their dispo, you'll notice the different icons. This bed means that a house was placed. A bed request was placed for the patient to go upstairs, and the houses mean that a discharge has been placed. You can see the nurses and then the doctors. Anything that you're not sure what it is, just hover over it. You sign in by clicking on Assign Provider right here. When you do that, your name will come up and you just sign in. You can check out at the end of your shift or you can just leave it. Right here is how you add orders. You can also do quick orders. We're going to go over orders later, but these are just the tabs. I usually use the add orders. You can see their home list by clicking on the prescription. You can start a document or their notes by right here. You just double click on this. And these are the main ones we use. I don't really use any of the other ones. So what you need to know to filter the patients is if you want to be on none or my patients and unassigned. So none will show you again the whole ER. Let's refresh and see if any of them have changed. So now this one's in a bed. I don't like the way this looks, so I usually use my patients and unassigned. There's two different ones. Use the first one. The first one will keep the patients on the board that you've discharged or admitted. Right now all my patients are active, so they're going to look the exact same. Also go to TMC all beds. This makes a cleaner look. I'm on my home computer again, so I'm going to drag this over just to make things fit a little better. So basically now you can see all my patients. You see the PA's patient, but I don't see the other doctor's patients. I can see there's a patient in the waiting room here, and there's a patient right here in bed 10 that no one's assigned to. I can tell no one's assigned to it because there's not a provider, there's not a doctor or a mid-level assigned to it. So if I wanted to assign myself to it, I would just click on the room and then hit the provider button. So I'm also working right now as well. I'm kind of jumping around. So I'm going to unassign now just because I'm probably going to let someone else see that. But again, you would just click on the name anywhere on that patient's column or row and then click Assign Provider. So let's say now for this patient who's in the to be seen, I wanted to see what they're here for. I go to this blue arrow on the very side and I double click. This brings you into the patient chart. You can see the vitals here. And we're on ED Summary. So if I scroll all the way down on ED Summary, I can see what the nurse wrote as a chief complaint. Generalized redness and itching. So now I've looked at the vitals and I've looked at why they're here. If I wanted to see if they've been here in the past, I would click on documentation. Looks like they've got no prior visits, so we'll have to find another one. But you can look, when you see their documentations, you can put in all notes, which is going to be every ER note. So now you're going to see all these triage notes, which you don't really need because it's just computer generated stuff. Or you can do all power notes and physician notes. Those are basically just the notes that have been placed by physicians. So I'm going to X out of here. And we're going to go over this a little bit more. So the tracking board, you can have all most recent vitals are on the tracking board just on the side here. So if you want to get the full list of every vital, you'll need to open up that chart again, and you'll be able to see the different columns of vitals. But the most recent one is right here. So here's a good example of labs on two different patients. On this lab column, you'll see it was 4 out of 0, now it's 4/2. That means that you've had 4 different labs placed and 2 have resulted. So just by hovering over it, you can see what's been ordered. We've got, it's basically CBC, CMP, lipase, and a diff. Down here, you can see, once I hover over it, you can see that the lipase and CMP says in lab, and the CBC is completed. In lab means that it's running. If it says collected, that means they've collected it, but it hasn't started running yet. If I double click on it, you can see what's there. You're not going to see what's pending, just what's there. You could hover over radiology if you want. So, same thing in all these other patients. You can see what's in lab and what's completed. On this one, you can see that the lactic's done, the CBC, CMP is done, but the urine has been dispatched. That means that it's been ordered, but it's not been collected. We don't have a sample. It's not in the lab. I double click on it. I can see everything. You can see the different colors for the abnormals. Radiology tab. So you can see what's been ordered and if it's been done, just like anything else. If you hover over it, you can see CT L-spine was ordered and it started. Over here you can see a CT or a chest x-ray was ordered and it's been done. During the day, if you double click on this and it's completed, you can double click there and then double click here and open the note and see what the radiologist dictated. But at night you're going to read plain films yourself, and we're going to get CT reports from somewhere else. But during the day, you could double click on this. Let me see if there's a patient who's been here a while. We just switched to night radiology, so I can see the length of stay in this column.
There are no words to describe. I know, exactly. No words to describe.
Doesn't look like anyone's been here long enough for. Let's try this one. Okay, yeah, so this one, you can see that it doesn't say in progress anymore, so I could open this up. And I've got my report. You could always do that and copy it if you need to put it in your note. But anyways, that's your reports. So on labs or radiology, we're going to do the same thing for both. If you wanted to find previous labs or trend them, you go up to this gray bar here with your mouse and you right click, hit for change search criteria, and then you can just go back a year or 2 years, whatever you want. It says from and to, so we'll say from 2 years ago and hit OK. So now you can see all the other labs done and compare them. You do the same thing for radiology. Just open it up by clicking on it, go over this gray bar, right click, change search criteria, and change the time period you want to search for. Now you can see all the different things ordered. So I'm going to take a break and see a patient. That's a quick overview of the tracking board.